Great Britain has reached a remarkable milestone as Queen Elizabeth II marks her 60th year on the throne. As a young girl, she didn't expect to become queen. Until the age of 10, she could have hoped for a quiet country life. But a crisis in the British monarchy made her father king. And 60 years ago, on February the 6th, when he suddenly died, she became queen. Now in her Diamond Jubilee year, she reigns over a different country and indeed 135 million people around the world.
You know, she was 25. You think about how young that is for somebody to take on this incredible responsibility.
But what does that mean? What does she actually do? It's been a life of turning up and reading official papers by this most familiar enigma.
The Queen has provided a huge stability and a huge wealth of experience for those that want to tap into it.
This series follows the Queen's working life over a year and a half. We'll hear from some of those closest to her.
As all mothers, she's put up with a lot, and we're still on speaking terms. So I think that's no mean achievement.
We explore her own history and look at just how much behind the pageantry she has changed the British monarchy.
She's a proper professional at her trade. Got some young upstart like me trying to do it his way. It's always important every now and again to look at how it's really done.
For 60 years she's been looking back at the rest of us, understated, sometimes hard to read. And over 60 years, many of us have become so used to her, we've stopped asking quite what she does or why she does it. We've taken her rather for granted. And after 60 years, perhaps it's time we stop. 6 decades, seen it all, but watching as closely as ever, remembering names, comparing. Her role includes jobs done in other countries by presidents, but also native traditions presidents know nothing about. She never stops, rarely pauses. Every day, almost every hour, is carefully planned. We talk about veteran politicians out on the campaign trail. This is the real, endless, perpetual campaign, year in, year out. And in terms of pressing the flesh, meeting people, this is the real veteran. She's here 1 week after her 84th birthday, but retirement, never mind abdication, seem to be words never mentioned in her presence. This is a typically busy schedule on a 2-day visit to North Wales. She's getting about. The Queen has a private motto: I have to be seen to be believed. And this, of course, is a family trade.
She's professional, ability to know how to move around, to who to speak to, and how to also engage with people, within a few split seconds of meeting them. And the way that she carries herself forward, smiles constantly, able to go into a room and bring the room to life. These are the things that at her age she shouldn't be doing. Yet she's carrying on and doing them, and not only in this country but all around the world.
To some extent, that's in the genes. I think there is an understanding of getting out and about. You actually have to go to meet people to find out what's really going on, and to give people a sense of your understanding what is happening.
Whenever Granny walks into a room, everyone stands up, stops, and just kind of watches her, because obviously it's huge when she walks into a room, and I find that incredible. I kind of go,
Now, of course, she's not ordinary. She's very rich, privileged, protected, and cherished. Different in so many ways, big and small. She doesn't need a passport or a driving license, though her husband does. But more important, she's only the 4th in what is effectively a new royal dynasty, stamped with her personal style, but built by her grandfather in years of mayhem and war. First World War toppled the monarchies of Russia, Germany and Austria. George V faced criticism that his family, Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, was somehow pro-German, and he knew there were anti-royal murmurings in Britain. When the writer H.G. Wells spoke of an uninspiring and alien court, King George retorted, "I may be uninspiring, but I'm damned if I'm an alien." In 1917, he changed all the German-sounding family names, and not knowing what his own surname might really be, he chose Windsor for its thoroughly British ring. He insisted the royals crisscross the country, visiting hospitals, towns and barracks. And a lot about today's monarchy comes from him. For the Queen, this was not something that she had to read about in books. The Queen remembers very well the man she played with when she was a small girl. She called him Grandpa England. And George V really was the man who made the Windsors. Her father was George V's second son, Prince Albert of York, who'd married a cheerful young Scottish aristocrat, Lady Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon. She turned him down twice, but it turned out to be a very happy marriage, so that Princess Elizabeth Alexandra Mary spent her early years in a private world of quiet security. Though when she was born, it was a time of turbulence. April the 21st, 1926, and there is a really uneasy air in the country. The general strike is just about to start. A lot of people predict a revolution, and a princess is born, third in line to the throne, here in Bruton Street, a fairly posh part of central London, but in a relatively normal house owned by her aristocratic grandparents. Later, the German bombs would remove it, and it's now possibly one of the dullest buildings in central London. At 8 months, her parents left her to take a 6-month sea voyage to Australia and New Zealand. Her mother was very upset. empire called. Duty first, family feelings second. Her parents were following the rule book set out by her grandfather George V. Get out there, be seen, work hard. His wife, Queen Mary, once retorted to an exhausted princess who complained she was tired of traipsing round hospitals. We are the royal family, and we love hospitals. If you're looking for a motto for this Queen's 60-year reign, it's not a bad place to start. She loathes being late, still crisscrosses Britain, and hardly ever cancels. On the second stage of her North Wales visit, she's about to do it all over again.
Well, here in London, no, she's not due for another hour. There hasn't been much advance publicity, and already there is a pretty substantial crowd hoping to see her. Now, I ask you, how many politicians could draw a crowd in advance, not only hoping to see them, but hoping to be pleased to see them?
Celebrities caught the camera. They open up. The Queen is not a celebrity. Cameras caught her, and she doesn't. Is this instinctive or something she's learned? Well, it's shrewd. Celebrities flare, and then they burn out. It's pretty remarkable that in her 80s, she still generates the same warmth and excitement as ever.
The Queen has developed this into an absolute art form, how to get round the maximum number of people, make as many people as possible feel that they've made some kind of contact, some small human connection with her.
The thing is, when you're in the presence of the Queen, you are keyed up, and you want to be your best. You want the occasion to be something you can talk to everybody about afterwards. That, of course, is the magic of what she is wherever she goes. The real human exchange that happens there is not a facsimile, and it's not drummed up by the press. It's something about the best of us.
If we've come to take this for granted, it's worth remembering that she would never have become Queen if her uncle hadn't been a failed, unsuccessful monarch.
On a cold Highness is the Duke of York, the Duke of Gloucester, the Duke of Kent, and Lord Harwood.
She was 9 years old when her grandfather, George V, died. As he was lying in state, part of the imperial state crown fell from the top of his coffin. His heir, Uncle David, as she called him, the Prince of Wales, saw this and wondered if it was a bad omen. It was. 1936 would become the year of the Three Kings.
Already loved and respected as prince, he set out to do his duty as king in the industrial areas of Britain. But behind the scenes, the constitutional crisis grew. A crisis which concerned not only politicians of Westminster, but the Church of England, and which was to prevent his coronation.
Edward VIII reigned for just 325 days, surrendering the throne to marry the twice-divorced American Wallis Simpson. He was the bad king, the Windsor who got it wrong. Vain and self-indulgent, he demonstrated that charisma, while useful in politics or entertainment, is a dangerous confection for a constitutional monarch. These are the unreleased stamps designed by him, looking like an emperor, to mark the coronation that never was. He was bored by duty, left official papers lying around with whiskey stains on them. Could the Queen's moral seriousness have been an instinctive reaction to her uncle's short and disastrous reign?
It must have been a terribly cruel betrayal for her, because he was such an enjoyable, relaxed member of the family in this very stiff sort of environment. And then suddenly she discovers, it must have been revealed to her at the time of the abdication, that he's blotted his copybook in this terrible way, in a way that they probably didn't. Her mother and father couldn't talk to her about Mrs. Simpson, divorced women, all this sort of thing. The very silence about it, people going quiet when she came into the room, this must have made it all the more awful and all the more of a betrayal.